All I gotta say is Wrangler Rubicon LOL, because this thing might just beat it. I'll include a link to the Ford and Draper's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Bronco. Ask for Scott if you have any questions. Link to my car buying guide in the description too. Let's get into it. This week's giveaway highlight is a supercharged Silverado High Country and a Corvette Z06. If you're interested, use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment to get 4x bonus entries on any donation $25 or more. Under the hood is a turbo 2.7 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy 17 around town, 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 330 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you don't want to get LOL'd at like Wrangler Rubicon owners, make sure you subscribe. I like the satin trim piece there, and yes, the mirrors are attached to the body, unlike the Wrangler. You also have these large LED headlights, blacked out grille with the white Bronco logo. Down below we've got recovery points, skid plate protection, fog lights. So this has just as much front end equipment as a Wrangler. And then around the side, we've got 33-inch tall tires, 285 by 70 by 17, so this matches the Rubicon in terms of sizing. Now, unlike the Wrangler, it has independent front suspension, but we have Bilstein position-sensitive shocks that help out with the off-road comfort and capability. Pretty big fender flares, not as big as the Wrangler, of course. Got the Badlands decal, rock rail protection. And then here's your side profile. This is the 4-door blacktop. When it comes to key fob features, we have our lock and unlock function, remote start, and then the Bronco logo on the back. Now popping into the rear, keyless entry even associated with that, which is cool, and the swing gate. There you go. So I've got a 12 volt here in the back, and when it comes to spacing here in the rear, some of the biggest benefits of the Bronco over the Wrangler is even with the whole cage situation, you actually have a lot of cargo space, a lot more width. Nice upgraded taillights. This has a real steel bumper, recovery point in the back, solid axle in the back, by the way. And then we have a spare tire, and that will sum things up for the exterior of this Bronco. Let's check out the interior. Now Ford does give you some soft touch there to rest your arm. You also have a little storage net. Nice stitching here on the seats, and it has the fancy leather ones, it looks like. Room in the Bronco is good. The width is the nicest thing compared to the Wrangler. Little storage net there. We've got some window controls here in the back. They're automatic. We have vents, and there's a little outlet, 400 watt. And this also comes with the top insulation. And of course, headroom's good with the box design, but the cage does get in the way a bit. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. You've got nice soft touch trim here down below as well. Oh, cargo netting. 1,016 pounds of payload capacity. Boom, Bronco horse. More of the nice stitching, and the seats power adjust both lumbar support. The front passengers also power adjust both lumbar support. And let's fire it up. Soft touch all around the steering wheel. Practical controls on the front face for the center, for example. Your adaptive cruise control, volume controls as well. And then full digital gauge cluster, which, look at this. The drive modes will appear, kind of a cool feature there. But yeah, that's the benefit of digital. It's customizable and you can have fun animations. This of course has the stabilizer bar, disconnect, diff locks for the front and the rear, trail turn assist, stability control, little USB port up top, 360 camera system, good resolution and big screen view, which is nice. But yeah, as for the screen itself, it's quick to respond, I would say. So they've done a good job there, and then you do have that shortcut bar at the bottom, which is also quick to respond, so user friendly. And then below that we've got our analog controls for the radio, dual zone climate controls, heated seat controls. You also have a heated steering wheel, some USB ports. We have our shifter for the 10-speed automatic, it has a manual shift function, some cup holders, drive line, so it has the drive modes you can go through, but yeah, it's a part-time four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case, 4-wheel drive auto. All of your window controls are all automatic, mirror adjustments, 12 volt there, more USBs, lots of USBs, soft touch on the top there. You got fancy stitching on the dash, bunch of auxiliary switches, and then we do have the hard top. You can remove it with these little latches there. Then this Badlands with a few items, 66,190. Let's see how this performs. Well, let's hope we got enough in the reserve tank, because this thing is showing like no gas. Yeah, the Bronco Badlands, I think this is one of the sweet spots for the Bronco in terms of giving you a lot of off-road capability, looking good. And, you know, the price point, it ain't cheap by any means, but it's not too bad. But also, mean, it's kind of tough because you can get like a loaded up Badlands with the Haas suspension and 35s for, you know, just over 70, and so it's kind of like, ooh, maybe you spend a little bit more money. Temptation there. So just because of the fuel, we're gonna do a little bit of a different test drive route because I don't feel like getting stranded. Also, we're gonna turn off the climate controls just to preserve our what fuel we do happen to have, I guess. Now, I've driven these Broncos quite a bit, and this V6 is a wonderful engine. It's got tons of torque. Tons and tons of torque on the low end, and it's very responsive too. That's the thing that I will give Ford credit, is their turbo engines are very responsive, especially this 2.7. It's just like, boom, and you got power. It almost doesn't feel turbocharged, almost. It's not quite as snappy as a NA engine, especially an NA V8 that might have somewhat, you know, NA V8s, you know, some of the older ones, power outputs were pretty similar to this. Now the suspension is also good. I mean, you got independent front suspension, so it means it turns in well. The steering is pretty quick to react, right? So I see that as another big benefit. Man, this thing's got torque. Yeah, it feels very controllable. And you know, the insulation does help out with the noise, but this is still a convertible. I think that people kind of need to always remember that about the Wrangler and the Broncos. They're convertibles, so they are going to be noisier. Man, the torque! This is what Jeep people are missing out, unless you got a 392, right? Unless you got a 392, this is what Jeep people are missing out on. Because even Jeep's like 4xe doesn't have the responsiveness this has. So good. I just feel like you always have power. 2.7, if you can get it, if you can afford it, it's worth it. Now the 2.3 is not a bad engine in the Broncos, and especially this having the 33s. Yeah, the 2.3 can move the 33s just fine. It can even move 35s, frankly, but yeah, if you get the 2.7 with these 33s, you got a little rocket ship here. So in conclusion, this is, you know, probably one of the Bronco sweet spots because you get the nice suspension, you've got a nice tire setup, you have lots of off-road capability, and this is more capability than most people need. Most people are going on trails that are between a 1 and a 5 rating, and this will be able to do those just fine. No struggle at all. You're probably not even going to have to engage the diff locks. Now, if you're obviously going on more difficult trails, then yeah, that'll kind of change things up a little bit, but again, how often, and if you're doing it at all. And you know, it's a brand new vehicle. It's like, do you really want to do more than a 5 out of 10 if you're rocking a brand new vehicle? You know, YouTubers, right, we're willing to do that stuff because views, but for a regular person, I don't know how practical that is, because then you're beating up a brand new vehicle, and that's, you know, these things aren't cheap. I mean, this is mid-60s. It's more money than most people make in a year. So let me know your thoughts on the, let's not hit this. Let me know your thoughts on the Badlands non-Sasquatch.